Hello everyone, I expect that all of you are doing good and welcome to this second video of our dedicated series on the base concept of algorithm. In this video, we talk about variable, constant, and data type. Without wasting time, let's get started. A variable is like in mathematics, a combination of many things like a symbol, a value that is taken from a set, and the most important thing is that a variable can have different value above the time. The symbol is a unique name that is given to represent the variable. The unique name of a variable must respect some rules, like the variable name should not start with a letter and should not contain space. And among all, it cannot contain a special character except the underscore special character. As example, let me just take as in mathematics and simple equation as result equals to x plus 10, where x is an relative number and result will be also an relative number because it's the addition of a relative number with a integer number. You see, in the first case, if x take the value of 5, result will be 5 plus 10 will give 15 as the value of result. In the second case, if x equals to negative 3, then result will take negative 3 plus 10 and we will take the value of 7. And in the third case, if x is equals to 0, then result will take the value of x plus 10, now 0 plus 10, that will give 10. In the other hand, we have the concept of constant. That is very similar to the concept of variable. It's just that in a constant, the value cannot be modified over the time as the same notion in mathematics. This constant also have a unique name, a unique dedicated name that have the same rules like in the variable name. The exception that when you write a constant name, you just put all the character in uppercase. To take some example, you have the pi number, which equals to 3.14, and pi is taken inside a set of real. And we have another value, another constant that is equals to c, that have this value that will be taken inside the set of the relative number. Now, what is data type? A type is just the set where the variable or the constant is taking its value. To explain or to illustrate this type of concept, let's take our two characters, T2 and Momo, that have some dedicated information. T2 is 7 years old, have a height of 150 centimeters, 4 legs, and is a female. And Momo is 5 years old, have a height of 5.82 centimeters, is also having 4 legs, and it's a male. So we can see that we have 4 pieces of information that we can keep for both of our characters, that is as the name, the age, the height, the number of legs, and sex. Now, I suggest you to put a break inside these videos and take a paper to try to identify for each of these variables and for each of our characters the dedicated value that will be give to each of these variables. I accept that you have done this. Now you can compare your answer with what you have done as a result. So we can see that for name, for the variable name, we have the value of T2 for the first character, that is T2, and the value of Momo for the second character, that is Momo. For the variable age, we have the value of 7 for T2 and 5 for Momo. For the third variable, that is age, we have the value of 1.17, that is the age of T2, and 5.22, that's the height of Momo. And for the number of legs, we have the value of 4 for both of the two characters. For the sex, we have the value of the female for T2 and the value of male for Momo. You see, as we have writing the names of variable, we just respect, as we see inside the previous videos, we just respect the camel case notation. We say to remember the camel case notation is that for each word that is inside the name of the variable, except the first word, the first character of the word will be in uppercase. Therefore, you can identify some following type for each of the variable. You see, for the name is just like string, is a set of character that is putting together. Now you associated to the type string. and the age. For the age, those age are number that are real, that are integer number, though without decimal part. And for the height, we have real number because they have a decimal part. Also for the number of leg, this is also an integer. And for the sex, this will be a string because female and male will be a set of joined character. But using this type of variable like the type string for sex is not an optimal manner because it will take too much space. The best thing to do here, because we have only two cases, we can only be male or female. This type of case where you have only two possible values, the best type of variable to use will be the variable boolean. A boolean is just a type that is dedicated to the variable that will take only two values. It can be true or false, 0 or 1, or it means any cases where you have only two possibility that can be given to the variable. And another thing is that for the number of leg, you see for the number of leg you have for the value for that is given for the two or both of character. It means that you don't have to use a variable because it would take too much space. When you have a same value that can be given to all the type, to all the different value of the different example that is given for the information, it's better to take a constant. Therefore, you can summarize that in algorithm, you have four base type that we can have. You have the type integer. That is just all the integer value or integer number that can be signed or unsigned. There are some example. We have 1, 42, -3, and amongst other one. We have the real type that corresponding to all the floating point number that can be positive or negative. Like given from example here, you have 1.5, you have -3.17, and amongst other one. You have the other type that would be a string that corresponding to just a word or a text that would be a join many words together. As an example, you have cat and you have hello. As you have seen, even for the past step, you see for string, we put all the information, all the word and the text between inverted comma. That is an obligation or a good practice that you will take that will help us for among the programming language that you will see after. And we have the last type that you see in algorithm, that is a boolean type. That is a type that can only have two values, true or false. And to summarize, we have in our cases for variable, for this example, you have four variables: the name, the age, the height, and the sex, with a different value that we have already explained in the past, and the type associated. And now for the number, for the only constant that you have is the number of leg. That will be for this case a constant, and that will be a integer. Now the most thing that you have to understand is that when you want to give value to the string type, it must be inside inverted comma. Now, what is declaration? Declaration consists to indicate which of the variable or the constant we both use inside the algorithm. First of all, to declare a variable, you have two possibilities. You can declare the variable by giving the unique name that is also identified as a symbol. You put the two dot and you put the type. Or if many variables have the same type, you can just declare them in one line, separate them, the variable, this different symbol of the variable, and at the end put the two dot with the same type. To take as example, here you declare want to declare two variables a and b as integer. You can just see in the first example, you use the first type of declaration. You have the keyword variable. You have a, that's an integer. You have b, that's an integer. But as a and b are two both integer, you can just directly declare in one line like a, comma b, two dot integer. And to declare a constant, you will use the personalized keyword constant, and after that you have the symbol two dot with a type, and it be equals to the constant value. Now to just try to identify inside how the places where the declaration take place inside our global pseudocode syntax that we have already seen inside the past video, we have in this part like this that we know the keyword algorithm. After that, we have the name of the algorithm that have to respect also the camel case notation. After that, we can declare our variables as we have already seen the type of declaration. For our example that is there, we have the name that is a string, the age that is an integer, the height that will be a real, sex that will be a boolean inside your case. After that, when you have finished to declare the variable, you just have to declare your constant if you have, like for in our case, the number of legs that's an integer, and it will be directly equals to the constant value inside your case, which will be equals to 4. This part where you declare the variable and a constant are called the declaration area. And after that, you have the part that you have already seen inside the past video. It means that the body of the algorithm that will be between end and begin, that identify the beginning and the end of the algorithm. And inside this part, you can have the instruction or the control structure that are two board notion that you will see in the next video. A variable or constant must be declared before being used inside the body of the algorithm. That is a very important thing. You almost have to declare your variable and your constant in the declaration area before doing any action with those variable or constant inside the body of the algorithm that will contain all our different instructions. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe, to like, to comment, share, and among all, to hit the notification bell to be informed our next release. And may I see you inside the next video.